Welcome, Chakra Collective, to another empowering episode of Chakras and Cuss Words, where we blend spiritual insight with a dose of real talk. Whether you're here to deepen your chakra knowledge, explore the cosmos, or you just need a place to vibe with like-minded souls, you're in the right space. Let's dive into today's journey of energy, empowerment, and a little bit of cosmic chaos. I am so glad you're here. Hello, welcome back to a Chakras and Cuss Words podcast. My name is Catherine. I am so glad you are here. We are getting ready to get into the beautiful and magical and mystical energy of this Super Harvest Lunar Eclipse moon that is happening on Tuesday, September 17th. Of 2024. So traditionally, with the full moon in September, it is known as the harvest moon. This full moon is a little bit more special and sacred because it is a lunar eclipse that is occurring. This is the energy that will really take place, and there will be like this almost magical stillness to the elements and to the energy of the moonrise. So this just isn't a regular full moon. This is a lunar partial eclipse. It is a night when both worlds really tie into the area of cosmos. A lot of people love to say the veil is thin between the two worlds of the cosmic connection and the reality-based world. I don't necessarily agree with that term. I feel like the veil is always thin when we are looking at cosmic energetic alignment, but this is a highly anticipated night, and this is a very energetic night, and this is very much centered on energies that are ripe and powerful. And for most people, most astrologers, some people don't like to create huge intentions or manifestations towards a eclipse, but if you are a witch or somebody who doesn't necessarily follow astrology, you can do as you like. It just depends on your personal preference and really how you see the cosmic energy around you. The harvest moon is a long revered area to the ability to illuminate the late night of harvest, and it will shine even brighter as normal because it is centered off the amplification of that energy of the eclipse. So there will definitely be that hold of enchantment that really rings the bell of the cosmic energy around us when we have the partial lunar eclipse. Will shadow and create that energy that the moon holds, adding an element of mystery and a transformation to the night light. And I will say that when we are looking at that energy of eclipses, it feels like there is a magical occurrence that really shakes the energy around us, and it shakes the energy within us. And I like to use it towards transformation in a reflective process. I do like to do shadow work during the eclipses. This magical occurrence is really up to you how you want to use the energy. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life or practice your practice, but for me, I love to dive into the shadow work. This magical occurrence will be visible across the North and the South Americas, also Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. In North America, it is almost seen as like a bewitching hour, an hour where the moon rises and the moon ascends above the horizons, cloaked in the shadows of eclipse season. And I feel like in the Americas, we are a little bit centered with that witchy format that feels a little bit like destined to be mysterious and mystical. I feel like we have tapped into that energy. I feel like a lot of women have healed their witch's wound, the energy of feeling embarrassed or feeling almost ashamed of their energetic alignment with the cosmic connection and the universe. If this is with your God, if this is with your deities, if this is with your stars, your moons, or with yourself, appreciating that goddess energy within. I feel like a lot of women have healed their witch's wound or are on the journey of healing their witch's wound. I will say that that energy is radiating through us and is radiating through the energy of the collective. And then when we look at the energy like across Europe, we see that there will be like a sky that feels a little bit tranquil and will be radiating to that energy space as well. As the sky darkens and gets a little bit more deep into the shadows of the night, we will see a beautiful star and we will see a emerging energy, and this energy is Saturn. So Saturn is going to emerge and we will see it. It will be very easily visible. So it will occur about 30 minutes after the moonrise. So make sure you get your binoculars or your telescope, but you should be able to see it from the naked eye. If you want to use like a night sky app to really look at it, you should. This alignment of the celestial bodies is rare. But I do feel like it is a time that you want to dive into acknowledging the movement of Saturn as well, because Saturn is that kind of like mystical and dark energy. And to me, Saturn screams shadow work. When we're looking at our areas of the shadow and we're looking at our areas of reflectiveness, because we can't be perfect. Like being perfect is not realistic, but we do have to work on ourselves and we do have to address our area of responsibilities, also our areas of constriction that might have been feeling a little bit distant from us. Before we create any huger manifesting. And also what I would like to say with the energy of Saturn is Saturn allows kind of like that big daddy energy where it feels like we shouldn't be so overly emotional in other people's shadows. So I also think that this is a good time for us to be reflective, but it's also a good time for us to look at how we can distance our emotional ties that connect us to others, especially others who don't treat us well and others who don't show gratitude for our being. That energy of the guardian of Saturn really will bring up that alignment during this eclipse. And we will actually see Saturn perfectly 30 minutes about after the moon rises. So take that time to really get your thoughts focused and get that energetic alignment. Take it in. If you can get outside, I highly recommend to do it. This alignment of the celestial bodies is rare and it's potent, especially for spell work, right? Spell work and energies of release and also energies of meditation. So this isn't a time that you might want to like create a whole bunch of new intentions, but it is definitely a time where you do some reflecting and releasing, but simply basking in the moon's aura and in the moon's energy for wisdom, for guidance is your own ability to do so, right? That is very just practical and magical. It is also a good time to like prepare that energy of the altar especially if you do celebrate Dias de los Muertos. It is a perfect time to like gather your crystals, gather that ancient and ancestral bond that you have to people who have passed away. Gather the things and the memories that you had and get that energy out if it is hindering you in some spots of maybe your energetic alignment. So it is a good time to do that. Also, with the harvest moon, it is a time for you to be mindful of Saturn's energy, as Saturn is extremely close and visible to the soul, to the spirit, to the energetic alignment. Under the light of this full moon or cosmic dance, we will have the sun in Virgo opposing it, creating that eclipse energy that the moon in Pisces will really break through with, right? And it will almost be casting like a potent culmination of fulfillment. I like to do energies that will blossom over time. And that's why, to me, reflective energy and bringing with the promise of the intensity that the Virgo sun can bring often brings like a subtle romance, because the Virgo is really centered around that energy of the goddess, the romance spirit, the energy of the mind. We might see that this energy is reflective in relationships as well, but also in spiritual processes as we have it aligned in the sign of Pisces. Pisces to me always feels spiritual, but it also feels like there is a deep tie to the conscious awareness. The conscious awareness that we can't control others, right? And it is important for us to acknowledge our shadow state, but not to live within the motions of others' shadows. And that's why I'm saying of having that reflective journey of our shadow state, but not living in the emotional state that others' shadows bring upon us. We have to remember that others' shadows will dim our light because for whatever reason, they aren't fully as consciously as aware as we are. This full moon is occurring at 25 degrees. Definitely check your local times if you want to see the energy of the lunar eclipse. And it will last for about 41 minutes of Pisces, and it's opposing the sun at the same degree. So marking the first energy alignment of the night would be understanding that the Pisces has that spiritual presence, the area of the consciousness, the area of being aware of your shadow, your reflective energy, but also being aware of the reflective energy around you, around the area of the domestication of your goddess energy, of your goddess era, of your goddess intimate structure of who you are in your feminine or masculine identity, in that energy of what creates you as being so awakened to these alignments, to this energy. This is the second eclipse, I believe, of the year, and there will be more. There will definitely be more. So if you don't have time to create everything that you were desiring to create for this partial lunar eclipse, don't worry. Eclipse season is just getting started. As the moon aligns with the energy of not just the sun, we also have an alignment with Neptune and also Jupiter. So it aligns with Neptune and it creates this square with Jupiter where the energies are going to become a little bit bold and extravagant. We might see that there is like unexpected expectations that others bring onto us just because that Jupiter square sometimes makes everything feel a little bit bigger and bolder, just because Jupiter is very much centered around expansion. So sometimes Jupiter can make that square element feel a little bit like, ooh, hostile, angry, a little bit, I guess you could say unfortunate as, or less fortunate in the area of gratitude that you would want it to do. We also have to remember that there is like a sense of movement, of breaking free to our conscious awareness as we have this energy being aligned with the Pisces. The lunar eclipse, we're going to look at the energy that it's affecting the most. And it's really going to turn degrees in the certain signs of the mutable signs, which would be the Gemini, the Virgo, the Sagittarius, and the Pisces, because we are in Virgo season. Also, there is an energetic alignment with the cardinal signs as well, includes the Aries, the Cancer, the Libra, and the Capricorn. And the reason why is this lunar eclipse is especially potent to these areas of personal planets or points at 20 to 30 degrees for these signs. So that consciousness of energetic movement really will kind of feed into those signs the most. This is a time that we will be looking at our relationships. We will be looking at our shadow state. We will be looking at that energy that either brings us together or tears us apart. But remember that with the full moon, that energy of emotions, intensity always tends to be a little bit highlighted just with all full moons. But this one feels just a little bit extra because it is in that area of Virgo and also that energy of Pisces. So we will be working on our spiritual practices of reflection and also that energy of health, mindfulness, gratitude, and offerings. I do think this is a great time to create an offering energy or table, or even like an offering plate. If you don't want to do a whole altar, you can always create something that's very small, maybe in the garden, if you don't want to bring it within the home, depending on how it is that you plan on releasing energetic movement, how you plan on showing gratitude to the energy of the two alliances, but also to dual energetic energies of the two worlds. As a lunar energy, there is that place of explaining and also showing the heart. We have to remember that with this energetic alignment with the Virgo, we are tapping into the area of the root chakra, the sacral chakra, as it is aligned with Pisces, and also with the heart chakra. And of course, with the third eye chakra as well, and the crown chakra. This is definitely a time that the decisions and the energies around us should show that energy of creating themes, because they will have a resurface, as all eclipses do. They will resurface. So that's why sometimes we will be seeing the old energy kind of coming back up. And the time that we would reflect on past eclipses were particularly and actually back in 2016. So if you kind of want to remember, what were you doing at 2016? What were you doing in 1997? Look at that energy as reflective points, especially if you are doing shadow work. Sometimes you have to go through that those Facebook photos, or that old vlog you used to have, or blog, or go through your camera roll and look to see, what was I doing at 2016? What was I doing in 1997? In 1997, I was actually, in 1997, I probably was just living my life as a young 19-year-old. Damn, That's crazy. Enjoying life, moving out of my parents' house. There was definitely some difficulty and some shadow journeys in that time, but in all honesty, it was definitely lessons being learned. I think in 2016, I would say 2016, I was definitely working towards living a healthier lifestyle. I was an emergency room nurse. I believe I was working night shift, or maybe by then I was working day shift. I can't remember. I'm going to have to look at my camera rolls, but definitely look at your camera roll. See how you can use that energy towards reflective experiences. So when we get into creating reflective journeys towards shadow work, for those who want to tie and dive into the reflective energy of shadow work, this is the time to do so. This is also a great time for you to pick up certain aspects of these dual energies of the Virgo sun, but also that Pisces moon. So we're going to want to look at emotional cleansing. Looking at the emotional cleansing is tied into the water sign element that the Pisces brings, deeply connecting to our emotions, our intuition, and our unconscious mind, but not letting that energy rule our life, right? And that's something that I think all of us can practice on, is not letting our emotions get the best of us. It's normal to have emotions. It's normal to have anger. It's normal to have jealousy. It's normal to have happiness, aggression, assertiveness. It's normal to have grief. These are all emotions. But what we want to look at during a lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces, it often will show the unresolved emotional issues that come to surface, offering ourselves a chance to be profound in our emotional release and our energetic healing. We might feel a little bit more sensitive during this time. So if our emotions are getting the best of us, it's going to come with the territory. I feel like most people who listen to this podcast are probably empaths, or they are very sensitive. And we tend to not only feel our own emotions, but sometimes the emotions of others can burden our state of acknowledgement, our state of acknowledging that, people place their shadows on us. And sometimes that is tied in to our emotions, and learning how to distance ourselves from other people's actions, allowing them to live in their own conscious state without it affecting us. I think some people will be kind of stepping into their spiritual awakening during this time of this lunar eclipse, especially with it associated with Pisces. That energy of dreams will be heightened. We will definitely have vivid dreams during this time. Spirituality, that movement of the collective unconscious is probably going to have a shift. And I do feel that some people are going to get triggered or awakened or kind of be heightened with their energy of intuition and their dreams. It's a time to pay attention to the subtle messages in your world and in the subtle messages around your world. And also the subtle messages, not just in this world, but also the both worlds, to pay a little bit more close alignment to the energy of the two realms, the energy of maybe a dragonfly visiting you, or a message from a bumblebee, or even a message from a butterfly, a message from a bird or a snake, or even an owl. Look at those messages that nature of the two realms are bringing you. Also, this is a time to let go. Fucking throw it away and let it go. I have to tell you this story because it's a little story time. I was telling my sister, I was like, I don't know if I should like cuss so much. And I cuss a lot. That is the whole fucking reason why I name this podcast Chakras and Cuss Words. Because I cuss a lot. And my sister's like looking at me and she's like, that's like the whole name of your brand. I was like, I know, but I think sometimes people don't really think I'm that professional. And it's because I'm such an emotionally based human. Like, I'm very emotionally based, and I'm definitely an empathetic person to other people. And I would definitely consider myself an empath. And also very intuitive. She's like, but that's like your whole fucking name is Chakras and Cuss Words. You can't be Chakras and Cuss Words without any fucking cuss words. I'm like, I know. You know, just allowing yourself to be vulnerable and letting go certain situations, certain energies that you feel like people might judge you on would be a good time to do it when we are looking at shadow work. Also, when we are looking at shadow work, we have to understand when does the negative energy kick in and letting that area go. I know there are some people who don't live by karmic energy, who don't live in the energy of karma, the rules of three, whatever. But for me, I do, and understanding that negativity usually comes back with more negativity. So having the strength of choosing strong spiritual beliefs and creating an alignment of emotional patterns that aren't affected by other individuals is important. Letting go and creating endings to energies that no longer serve your highest awareness and also serve your highest energetic alignment. It is a powerful time of letting go of what's holding you back, especially with shadow work. I would say while relationships are on the forefront, this is also a time for us to look at it internally. Because with relationships, there are a few factors that will not go away, even when that ex goes away. There's some things that will not go away because it's more of an internal energetic alignment. It's more of an internal thing. It's like you are with a new guy, but the new guy still has all of the things that you didn't like about the last guy. Then you got to look at, is it you who just can't see that area of compassion or maybe boundaries or maybe even reflective energy? Are you projecting your own insecurities on the new partnership? So looking at it on a internal area, spiritual level of the internal spirit, not necessarily on the energetic of somebody else's alignment. This is also a time when we are looking at shadow work is to look at our energies of boundaries and compassion. They almost go hand in hand, but they are a little bit opposite. The Pisces is known for boundless compassion, but it can also struggle with boundaries. Having that energy to not be a people pleaser sometimes is very hard because sometimes being a people pleaser is the easy way out. Saying yes when you feel like saying no just because you don't want to hold your boundaries true. Looking at that reflective process and that shadow work of within. During this eclipse, you might need to reassess your boundaries in the internal space, the area of your internal awareness, and we might see it again in relationships or situations that tend to be too much for you. It is essential to find a balance between the compassion, the self-care, and the boundaries. For a personal impact for the Pisces, especially if you are a Pisces, we have to remember that this energetic movement is really surrounding wherever your sun sign lies, right? So you're going to want to look at that energy. What house is it in? How is it affecting you? What oppositions do you see? What conjunctions do you see in your chart? We have to remember that we want to look at that reflective area in areas of shadow and also in areas of releasing and improvement. We also want to look at if we have some Pisces placements, where are they at in our chart? Are they our moon sign? Is it our rising sign? Does Pisces hold venue in our fourth house? Is Pisces the energy alignment in our partnerships? Is it aligned with our second house? For all the signs, look at where the Pisces is in your chart. See how it's being activated with this lunar eclipse. Seeing what experiences in your life brings significance and realization. This is also a beautiful, I love the Pisces energy. To me, it feels very godly. It feels like fucking godly. I just love it. Feels like my Jesus sign, my Jesus walker sign, water walker. Feels like the fisherman. And like I said, to me, I believe Jesus is a Pisces. I know I say this anytime we bring up Pisces. I know Jesus was a Pisces. I know that little baby Jesus was not born on Christmas Eve, honey. But anywho, let's continue. Just seeing that area of taking in the sacral chakra, the water element, washing away the shadow, washing away our sins. Oh, this sounds super religious, but yuck. But washing away the shadow, washing away that negativity, washing away that energy where you're like, I just want to create madness and do some Bane magic and fucking hex the bitch. Hex this bitch. Now, if you aren't into karmic alignment, fucking hex the bitch. But if you are, okay, let's not. But anyways, we have to remember that there's all types of offerings, right? There's all types of practices, and you have to do the practice that works for you. So journaling, reflecting, the areas of emotions, the areas of insight, this will help you gain clarity. Also washing away ritual baths, aura cleanses, meditation. Meditate to water if you can. Let that conscious collective of that light noise of water really tap in and feel like a little bit greater and a little bit more beautiful. If you can, like, get some water, real water, if you have a waterfall, use it. Even like I was thinking about getting like one of those desktop water fountains, but I was like, oh God, my husband's gonna be like, more woo-woo stuff in the house. Oh God. But then I was like, well, I could just always go outside. I could just always listen to some white noise. I could take a shower, right? I could even use a diffuser. There's all kinds of stuff that we could do. Look at that energy of release and also the energy of movement. I would even like a good aura cleansing during this time. Also, you can burn stuff if you want to burn it. Release the old emotions into the water and then pour that water away from you. Like you could pour that water into the street, down the drain. You could pour it in the toilet. You could pour it down the sink. You could pour it away from you. I wouldn't, if I was releasing my shadow, I wouldn't necessarily water my plants with it. But I would probably not. But, release it somewhere where it's going far away. Or if there's weeds, give it to the weeds. I don't know. But don't necessarily release it with like your new plants. I wouldn't do that. I would definitely release it in something away from you. You can speak your affirmations, and you could also speak your new intentions into your new water. And then you could feed that energy to your plants or your garden. So definitely look at the symbolic act of release and also taking in that energy within you. So we're going to get into a quick reading, not a big reading, a quick reading, okay? Because I feel like I've been talking a lot with this whole moon, lunar eclipse, harvest moon in Pisces. So it's going to be a quick reading, and then we're going to be looking at where we're going to look at intentions of shadow work. Okay, so it's going to be more based on shadow work. Okay, the cards are shuffled. I will be using the Crow Tarot deck and also my favorite oracle deck for moon energy, the Moonology deck. I need to get some new decks, but these are like two of my favorites, so we're going to get into it. For the fire signs, you are an Aries, you are a Leo, you are a Sagittarius. Okay. For the fire signs, we're going to want to look at our areas of what's been holding us back and releasing that energy state of reflective energy of our strength. We have to remember we are fucking strong. We are strong. Even when we don't feel strong, we're strong. We're going to let that energetic movement shine through. So look at what holds you back from feeling that you are strong. Also, we want to look at what areas we can release of limiting self-beliefs that have been holding us back in our placement of feeling aligned in our strengths, right? Feeling aligned in that energetic movement that seems to be a little bit hard to anticipate. If we've been a little bit too focused in our strength, then it's going to be time that we get grounded and we learn to not let the emotions of always being right feed our soul too deep and feed our energetic movement too deep. This is also a time that we're going to look at how we can still hold on to our vision, even when our vision is complicated, even when our vision gets missed with obstacles, even when our vision gets burnt out. We're still going to want to hold on to our vision, but we're also going to have to see that energy where we aren't so fixed, where we aren't so stubborn, and see how we can continue to get this vision to work for us. I want to say that this is a time that you're definitely going to want to look at insight of reflective shadow that makes you want to give up, right? Like what it is in your mind that tells you it's okay to give up. It's not okay to give up, especially when there's been something that you've been desiring, feeling aligned with, and you're just going to, I don't want to do it anymore. It's too hard. Everything in this world is going to have a little bit of an obstacle to it. That's the name of the game. Everything is going to feel a little hard. So what is it that is feeling too hard? What is it that's feeling where you do want to give up? Why aren't you seeing your strengths? And how come you aren't feeling in a alignment with how strong you actually are? And that is for the fire signs. For the water signs, this energetic movement is all about you. This energetic movement is letting me see that when we are looking at this shadow state and creating intentions towards clearing that shadow state, I'm going to want to see you do it with water. I'm also going to want you to see you do it with that energy of taking in, but also soothing the willpower. The willpower sometimes could be very destined, right? And I do feel like sometimes when we do have a lot of willpower, it might show as a little bit of an ego, but get back into the higher consciousness, the self-awareness. Are you moving with ego, or are you moving with self-awareness? Are you moving with the consciousness? Are you moving with the higher elements? Or are you moving with that drive of the passion only? Also, if you've been going through the end of a tough cycle, it's approaching where it's going to end. So you might want to be clearing that energy of that tough cycle, of those obstacles that have been hitting you, and getting back to that energy of working with the self-awareness, working with the chakras that we talked about, the root chakra, but definitely with the sacral chakra, with the solar plex chakra, and with the crown chakra is what I really see for the water signs. Also, knowing that you are able to heal after these tough circular events occur, after these movements of obstacles have happened. So allow yourself that clearing energy. And I really feel that this is speaking true to not only the Pisces, but also the Scorpio and the Crab. So that is for the water signs. For the earth signs, if you are an earth sign, you are a Taurus, Capricorn, or you are a Virgo. So it's still Virgo season. Hey, boo-boo. Wow, we're getting some really good cards. Like, these cards are like so nice. I'm kind of like, it's hard for me to even make intentions, because these are really showing that you guys are really like on your stuff. You guys are really been working with the cosmic energy. Not too much shadow is coming up, so that's really good. But also I feel like it's making it a little bit difficult, because I just want to like praise you be like, you're one badass. But we're here to reflect, and I want to give you intentions towards reflecting. So when we are reflecting for these earth signs and clearing the shadow of the earth signs, I want you guys to get comfortable with understanding that it's okay to be alone. Oh, yikes. And becoming aligned with like your own self. Becoming aligned with just that energy of stability that you bring. Look at that energy and that power of how focused you are, and understanding that you don't need to be around everybody. And you might kind of already have this figured out, because I feel like these cards have been so amazing. But seeing like how you can definitely be comfortable with like being alone. I will be honest, I enjoy being alone. Sometimes I'm like, I think I enjoy being alone a little bit too much, and I have to push myself to kind of like socialize. But yeah, I could definitely be alone for like a good moment of the day and not feel like, oh God, where am I at? Who's with me? And feel like nervous. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do that being alone allows me to do it. Being able to pick up that awareness that being alone sometimes is a very valuable thing. And when you put yourself on that high pedestal is something that the earth signs are going to need to do. So you're going to need to put yourself on that high pedestal. You're going to need to understand that being alone is because some people, and I hate to say this, but some people are just not on your fucking level. And that's where we look at that energy of people pleasing again, because sometimes we dimmer our light because we don't want to acknowledge that some people are just not at the awareness that we're at the consciousness we're at that area of movement that we are at, and we put ourselves in like this space that allows us to be a little bit dimmer because we are protecting not only ourselves because we're people pleasing, but we're also protecting that individual from the uncomfortability people feeling of acknowledging that they have to improve, acknowledging they can do better. And sometimes that's hard. Also, when we look at this area, just know that commitments might get tested. So then we go back to that focus of allowing ourselves to be alone. It might be our own interpersonal commitment. What are we scared to commit at? So look at that. If you are earth sign, if there's something that you haven't fully been able to commit at on a personal level, could it be drinking? Could it be creating your health plan? Could it be creating your meal plans? Could it be stepping into the gym? Could it be moving towards new goals? Can it be leaving that dusty ass man that you've been with? What has it been that has been not allowing you to commit to that interpersonal glow up, that interpersonal energy? Could it be leaving a job you've been in but you don't feel appreciated at? Could it be not putting in new resumes to make more? Could it be not going back to school? What is it that you've been thinking about that you need commitment to? Also, commitment of others might be tested because we do have that energetic alignment with the relationships. And this is when we have to remember that we're okay being alone. So that is for the earth signs. For the air signs, if you are a Libra, if you are a Gemini, or you are a Aquarius, this reading is for you, friends. Okay. Okay, so let's see. How do I, for intentions for the air signs, understanding that there is energy in power of the will, of the solar plex, of the sun. That solar plex energy feeds us in areas of energetic movements. Where have we been not feeding that energy of energetic movements? Where have we been holding back? Where has that shadow state? Where has that limiting self-beliefs been occurring? When the energy of the solar movement, the solar energy, the solar plex chakra energy has been just not fully directed. Because what we're going to need to do is initiate, because we have so much potential we are not seeing in energies of money. Maybe we've been spending too much money and we need to learn to be more aligned with our boundaries. Because when I look at this card, there are 3 chakras that are fucking screaming at me. And those chakras are the solar plex automatically is screaming at me. The heart chakra is screaming at me. And the crown chakra is screaming at me. So with some energy of the third eye chakra, but mostly the crown. When I see this card and I'm thinking of areas of reflection and areas of shadow state that we want to dive into repairing, reflecting, and moving towards a area of release, I'm thinking limiting self-beliefs. I'm thinking energies that are hindering us from our full prosperity. I am thinking energies that are affecting us in our place of boundaries, responsibilities, and also our compassion state. Are we being too overly compassionate with certain people? Because then again, we're going back to our people pleasing, or we're going back to our limiting self-beliefs. We have a internal desire, we have a internal energetic alignment that will not only feed our heart chakra, but feed our area of prosperity as the universe shows us gratitude. So this is a time that we're going to want to look at those places of why are we not feeling devoured into the solar plex energy. Also know that if something has been holding you back, like you're second guessing yourself, you're second guessing that energy of relationships or jobs, that a conclusion is coming, it's always best to have the conclusion, the end point, the truth, the self-awareness. If something is occurring where you don't want to know, you need to look at yourself of why living in the shadow is more easier than facing the truth. Yeah. Don't let living in the shadow not allow you to see the truth. So, conclusions are in reach. It is time for you to dive into your solar plex energy, throw away the limiting self-beliefs, get aligned with the boundaries and the heart chakra energy, and become one with the decisions that you make for the air signs. Yes, this is a movement of reflection. This is a reading for reflection and shadow work. I have a whole podcast about shadow work I highly recommend you check out, especially for this eclipse. Also, I do have a meditation that is focused on shadow work, solely shadow work. So that's something to dive into for this lunar eclipse in Pisces. So I thank everybody for listening to Chakras and Cuss Words. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Please give me a follow because it always helps me move up the podcast ladder, and give me a lovely rating of 5 stars. It helps people who are in the same journey as we are in, the cosmic collective, the chakra collective, the cosmic baddies, the witchies, and the mystical mavens find us. Also, let me know, how do you think this lunar movement is playing in your chart? How do you feel this energy has been occurring around you? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what rituals, manifesting, releasing, or areas of meditation you plan on doing in the comments. Everybody have an amazing day. Bye.